I'm going to be making a rose wall hanging today using these lovely wooden blanks that the lovely Tracey from MiniScenes GB sent me. I've already used a black Sharpie pen and coloured the front of those, and I've painted the back of these white, so they look like that at the moment. So that's those two already. So we'll pop those to one side for a minute. And with this one, I'm not going to be using the back piece for that, just this top piece. And I've already started to colour that in. So I'm just going to use my Sharpie pen and finish off colouring this in. And with the larger rose, I'm going to use some kitchen foil to back this instead of the wooden blank. So I'll just finish off doing this last little bit with the black, and then we can move on to the next bit. Right, so that's that all done. So I'm just going to tear off some kitchen foil, the size that I need for the rose. And then I'm just going to scrunch it up and open it back out again. Let's just move that to the side for a minute. And then just spread this back out. And get it reasonably flat. Let's just make sure my rose fits in there. Yes, it does. Right, so next I'm just going to mix up some resin, and then we can attach the rose to the tin foil. I've mixed up a small amount of the Apex Quantum resin. This is their fast set resin, a 1-to-1 that sets within 1 to 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is, let's flip that over, and then just using a small amount of this, it's not going to need a lot. I'm just going to use my gloved finger and then just apply some of this all over the back of the rose, just so it makes contact with the tin foil. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. So now this has had a coating all over, I'm just going to flip this over the other way, place that down onto my foil, push that down, and then I'm going to stick a weight on this to hold it down. I'm going to place a bag over the top first, so then if there's any resin on that black top surface, it's not going to stick. Then I'll use the blank from that, and then put something heavy down onto the top of that. So we're just going to leave this to cure now, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. This is all cured now and attached to the tin foil, so I'm just going to use a craft knife and just carefully go around the outside and just trim off all the excess tin foil. So you don't need to see me doing this all the way around, I don't think. So I'll do this, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. This is all ready now, so we can pop that to one side for a minute. So next I need to attach these two pieces together. So I'm just going to use some Mod Podge to do this, and I'm just going to put some of the Mod Podge on the back of the frame, get a good covering on there, and then we'll just place this straight down onto the bit that we've painted white. So that's all covered now. So I'm just going to pop that down into place. Make sure that's lined up. Can use a brush just to tidy up any of these overspill bits here. The Mod Podge will dry clear, so that won't notice. Right, so that's that one done. Just going to put a weight down on that one, and then I'll do the other one. So I'll get the other one done, and then I'll see you back in a minute. These are all ready now, so I'm going to start off using some of the Let's Resin coloured UV resin. I've got blue, royal blue and dark blue. So I'm going to use some of this around these outside edges. So this will help seal the edges and add a bit of extra colour once I come to doing the next bit. So I'm just going to put this in random places. So some round in that one, and let's do some of this one down in this one. And I don't have any gloves on at the moment, but please wear the appropriate PPE when you're using any type of resin. It's just that I can't really wear 2 gloves at the moment, so I'm just going to be extra careful. So next, let's go in with some royal blue and pop some of that down. Let's have some of that down in that bit there and around there. I'm not worried too much about curing it straight away, because I don't mind if it spreads a bit. Let's do some down in that bit and some down this bit here, and then let's do some along this edge here, and let's put a bit in this middle bit here. And then I think we're going with the blue. Add some of this one, some down in that bit, and some. Let's make sure we've got all these outer edges done first. Let's do that one there, and that bit there. Let's go in with the dark blue just to finish off around that bit there and this bit here. Right, and then I think I'll just put a few other bits around some of these edges. So let's go in with the royal blue, pop some down there. Finally, let's just do a little bit on this one here, and then I think that will be enough actually. Right, okay, so we'll cure that, and I'm just going to use the Let's Resin UV lamp. So I'll get this all cured up, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. That's all cured now, and I've done the same thing to the smaller roses, so they're all done. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to add to that some of the Super Sparkle White from Tracey at MiniScenes GB. So let's pop some of that into there, and then get that mixed up. And then I've got a selection of the Let's Resin alcohol inks that I'm going to be using. I've got Sapphire Blue, Azure Blue, Cerulean and Turquoise. And then I'm just going to drop some of these just all over onto the tin foil. Just random, here, there and everywhere. So next colour. Some of that in. Oh, I think I might, oh, that's nearly run out, that one. Let's just do a couple of drops of that one. Right, and then we'll go in with the cerulean. Pop some of this one down. Some of that going in. Just need to make sure I've got a bit in each little section. Pop some in that one. And then we're going with the turquoise. So a bit of that in some of these. They don't all have to be the same. And I think that will probably do. And then I'm just going to pour my resin straight over the top. Pretty. Don't mind if it goes over the top, it will level out. Just need to make sure I get it in all the different areas. So just carry on covering all of these. Some in this one. And that one, oh, that one hasn't got any yet. Pop some in there. Just do a little sweep over everywhere. Make sure they've all got resin in them. Right, I think that's everywhere covered. Didn't realise it would use so much resin, to be honest. Let's see if I can scoot that over to one side. Let's just give that a little squirt with some 99% alcohol. Pop any bubbles that might be there. That will do. Right, have I got enough to do one of these? I might have. Let's just pop some of the colours into this one. And then do the same with this one here. Need to be quick with this because it's going to stain that bottom paint. So let's just get that in there quickly. And then we'll do the same with the other one. Let's just scoot that one on over to one side for a minute. And then do this one. I wonder if I've got enough in there. Might just have enough. Let's see. Let's pop some of this blue in there. And some of the other colour. A bit more of that. And then get the resin in that one. I think I just about had enough for those. That was lucky. So a quick little squirt with some 99% alcohol. Pop any bubbles. And then we'll leave this to cure. And then I'll see you back for the next bit. These are all cured now and looking lovely. And I have glued the wooden back panel onto this one just to give it a bit more strength. So the two little roses, I didn't actually have enough resin for those, so they need to be topped up. So let's just pop that to one side for a minute. So I'm going to use some of the Let's Resin UV resin to do these. So let's start with this one. I'm just going to pop some of that onto the top there. Fill in the little sections first of all that need it, and then using a dotting tool I'm just going to flick that out to the edges, get a nice dome on those. Just make sure it's all the way out to the edges and all those little areas are covered. So that's got a nice covering on there now. So I'm just going to give that a quick zap, pop any bubbles, and then we're going to cure that under the UV lamp. So I'll do this one, and you don't need to see me do that again. So I'll do the other one as well, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. These are both cured now and looking lovely, but the edges look a bit untidy. So I'm going to use a silver chrome marker pen. This one's from Let's Resin. And I'm just going to go around the outside edges with the chrome marker pen. Just bling them up a little bit, neaten them up. So I'm sure you don't need to see me doing this, going around all three of these. So I'll do this and then I'll see you back for the next bit. That's all my edges done now, and I have gone round the front edge there as well. So that's that all done. So next I want to decide where I want to put these two on here. So I'm thinking maybe one there and one maybe there. Let's think how I want to hang this. So maybe like that. So maybe one there and one there. One there, one there and one there, I think. So I'm going to use some of the Green Stuff World instant glue. So let's just pop some of that down onto there. Just going to give the back of that a squirt with some activator spray. And then hold that down in place. Fix that there. And then the same with the other one. So where are we saying? About there, I think. So let's put some glue down on that bit. And then a quick squirt with some activator spray. This just speeds up the curing of the super glue. So let's pop that one down there. Right, so that's that all done. So next I want to hang it. So I've got this bead chain. So let's just snip off some of that. How much do I think I need? Maybe about that much. Just snip that off there. And then we're gonna turn this over. And, right, hold on. So I want the chain to be there and there. So there and there. So that will hang there. So let's try the super glue, see if that works. Pop a bit there. Lay that down into there. We can give that a squirt with the activator spray. And then same again that side. Pop some glue there. Lay that chain into that. And then give that a squirt. I think I pulled that too quickly. I don't want to push my finger on it because I don't want my fingers to stick to it. Let's just pop a bit more glue over the top. Just to make sure. Same with that one. I could have used UV resin, couldn't I? Right, let's give that a squirt. We'll just leave that to set for a little bit. Right, that seems strong enough now. So that's my wall hanging all done. So thank you ever so much, Tracey, for sending me out these lovely wooden blanks. Thank you for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
The sunlight gleaming through the pane on my little houseboat domain. Got my molds and colors bright, crafting algae day and night, floating gently on the bay, watching little fishes play. But my mind's on swirls and gleam, living out a crafty dream. Got my epoxy hardener too, mix 'em up a shade of blue, pour it slow with careful hand. Let's start resin in the land. Resin magic on the houseboat, turning plastic into gold. Little trinkets shiny new, crafted just for me and you. from a simple little